Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Billionaire's Beginnings, where we are legitimately grinding from $0 to $1 billion in GTA 5 Online. This episode is a big one because we have hit the $50 million made milestone. If you've been watching from the very beginning, you know how much time we put into this, and it is amazing that it has finally paid off. If you are new to this series and the channel, I'm going to be showing you in this video how I made that 50 million, but first, make sure you drop a like. Let's see if we could hit 50 likes in 24 hours for $50 million made. Also, make sure to subscribe. Let's get into it. So this series is 8 episodes deep, and we have spent about 3 days worth of active grinding time on the game and have made $50 million, which is mind-boggling. In this video, I want to take you through the process that I used to make this 50 million, from what businesses I bought, when I bought them, what's made me the most money, and what I think is the best money methods right now. So of course, if you haven't seen my video on my channel, I already made a video about it, but to make my first million, the majority of it came from 3 events, which each earned me $250,000 to $275,000 in that range, and flight school. There were other things, but that made us our first $1 million. From there, I went into the MC business, which is probably the first major step towards making good money in the game, because I purchased the custom bike shop with it and was able to do the life and death bikes contract. And I grinded the heck out of this contract. I've done it dozens of times, probably 50, 60, 70 times, each time earning you $73,000. And on average, I spent about 8 minutes doing it, 7 minutes doing the mission. So I was pretty much making around $730,000 every hour with this money method, which carried us for a decent part of the series. I also purchased a white stuff lockup and the cash factory, which was making me an okay amount of money for the first little bit. But since then, I've decided to shut them down for the most part and use them just for the nightclub. In the beginning, I also did a lot of sites here because it was double money. I also was able to purchase the bunker and the nightclub, which really helped. The bunker has been a consistent one for me. It is passive income. I resupply it, and every 2.5 hours, go and sell the products for $210,000. So I'm pocketing $135,000 every 2 hours. Really simple. We've been doing that the entire time. But the nightclub, however, was a turning point in the series because it was the first time that we were earning truly passive income. Now, of course, we had to have other businesses first in order to make that passive income, but once we had that set up, we were earning completely passive income. And around that time, I started taking advantage of some of the extra side jobs that you could be doing. So with the MC Clubhouse, I started doing the bike deliveries for $50,000 every hour, and I started doing the ammo drop-offs with the bunker for $50,000 every hour. Wasn't a lot of money. Looking at it now from the position we are in now, it's not the best use of my time, but back then it was good extra money to have with us. And to wrap up that period, I also started getting into some CEO crates, although since then I barely use them. I barely touch or restock the crate warehouses, but it is something that would be good for most people starting off their grind. So at this point, we've made around like the $20 million mark. We had put 35 hours into it, which, considering how much money we made, it wasn't the best return for our time. But the main things that I was doing at that time, like I said, was life and death bikes, some of the MC businesses, the bunker was a consistent, and then the nightclub was a very big help because it was completely passive. And moving into the next stage of my grind, I did a lot of AFK. And what that is just I went to my CEO office, went into my interaction menu, clicked on office decor, and then was AFK, which would allow the nightclub to accrue goods without me actually playing the game. And I did that for hours on end. And it really ended up paying off. We'll see in a little bit how much I've made so far. It's in the millions, well over what I paid for the nightclub business and everything included in it. So at this time, I was bringing in decent cash, but the amount of time I was putting in for the amount of output I was receiving was not great. And we knew we had to take our grinding to the next level, and that's when I did my first KO Perico Heist in episode 4. And it earned us just shy of $1.5 million for about an hour and a half, 2 hours of work, which at the time was mind-boggling. We were averaging around $500,000 earned per hour, $600,000 earned per hour. This right off the bat was $750,000 per hour roughly, or maybe more. And once I got a taste of how good the KO Perico Heist was, I went full throttle. For the next tens of millions, I grinded the heck out of the KO Perico Heist, and at the same time went AFK a lot to accrue goods with the nightclub. And over the past few episodes, I've done the KO Perico Heist maybe a dozen or two times, possibly more, and it has earned us a ton of money. Which brings us to this current episode where we made over $9 million in 8 hours of work. Now, although our per hour amount made is less than last episode, that's simply because I put more time into some of these smaller businesses that we've been working on. So we're still doing pretty well. And for those who have been watching from the very beginning, it's cool to see the come up of going from about $350,000, $400,000 per hour all the way up to over 1 million. It is a big step up. So the way I made the 9 million in this episode, and it's going to look like this in future episodes as well, is I did a lot of heists, a couple bunker sales, and then a couple ammo and bike deliveries here and there. So the heist in this episode made up about just under $7 million from our total. The slowest I did one was an hour and 30 minutes, and the fastest was 50 minutes, averaging about an hour. The 1 hour and 30 minute run was an anomaly, but usually I'm doing these in an hour's time, which I think is a comfortable time, works out pretty well. The lowest amount that we made was just over 1.2 million, which is pretty good, and the highest was almost 1.5. So we were averaging probably around 1.35, 1.4 million per heist, which is pretty impressive, I think. And I've sort of figured it out. The main thing that helped me in this episode is, although I was getting tequila a lot or some lower level primary targets, I was doing them all on hard mode. So what that means is that after the heist cooldown, if you restart the next heist within, I think it's a 45-minute window, you then get hard mode activated. Now, what's nice is that you can activate it and start the heist on hard mode and then walk away and come back a day later and still do it. That's actually what I did on one of them. You don't have to do it within that 45-minute time frame. You just have to restart the heist, from what I understand. So that really helped me out. I was able to space that out a little bit, but I was doing these heists on hard mode, which then bumps the tequila to 990,000, some of the $1 billion loot to 1.1 million, because it's a 10% bump. And so it just made things a lot easier. So usually my loot bag was around 1.5 million. It would be cut down to 1.35 million with the final cut, but then I would earn the elite bonus, which I missed I think once or twice, but I would earn the elite bonus, which would get me another 100 grand because we're doing it on hard. So everything added up, it made things really easy, started earning more money with it. So just under $7 million on the heist alone. So between the heists, I did 3 different things. The first thing was bunker sale missions. I did a total of 4 for about $850,000. I also did a total of 2 ammo drop-offs and 2 bike deliveries for $100,000 each, so $200,000 for those 4 deliveries. And then I also did 5 life and death bike missions. I haven't done them in a while, maybe an episode or 2, but I brought them back, did 5 because I just had empty time to fill. And then of course, the final thing that I did on this episode, I started hiring new DJs again and spending more time on my popularity. So the nightclub is earning me even more money through the wall safe now while I'm going AFK. So I cashed out $250,000 from the wall safe, which was great to see. But I also did a nightclub sale mission for $615,127. So in total, in this episode, we made $9,167,683 in 8 hours. And that there actually put us over the $50 million mark. Now, I'm very proud of this. I feel like we have a good setup going where we are right now. Clearly, the best money-making method is the KO Perico Heist, and clearly the best way to do it is to time it out properly so that I'm getting the hard mode activated every time I do it, because it doesn't change actually our run at all. It doesn't make it any harder, surprisingly enough. I mean it. 0 changes. So that's the best way to do it. It's making us the most amount of money. Doing bunkers in between is good. I also bought an agency in this episode. I'll talk more about it in another episode because the Dre mission, like, it takes forever for these missions to load up, so that's agitating me, but that will be a new way to make money soon because it's a $1 million payout. And then I'm also going to be possibly mixing in some of the MC businesses later on, some of the CEO cargo crates, but the main thing going forward is going to be the KO Perico Heist, Nightclub passive income, and then bunkers, sale missions here and there. Anyways, that's all for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like. If you're new, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.